If you search for the best neighborhoods in Atlanta, Decatur always comes out near the top. But the people I talk to often get confused about the differences between Decatur and North Decatur. So today I'm going to give you 5 differences to consider when deciding between Decatur and North Decatur. First, let's clear up our terminology and make sure we're on the same page. I like to refer to Decatur as the City of Decatur. It is in fact its own city about 5 miles east of downtown Atlanta. And North Decatur is this large unincorporated area just north of the City of Decatur and about 8 miles northeast of downtown Atlanta. The main thing to understand is that Decatur is its own city and North Decatur is part of DeKalb County but is not part of a city. So let's look at these 5 differences to consider when deciding between the City of Decatur and North Decatur. And the last one might actually be the most important one, and it's going to certainly be the most contentious, so stick around. Number 1, Decatur Square. The City of Decatur is built around a classic downtown square. Decatur Square is filled with shops and restaurants and is very walkable from a huge chunk of the city. Decatur Square hosts many different events throughout the year, from the Decatur Arts Fest, the Decatur Books Festival. There's live music, just so much going on all year long. Right on the square, there's a library, a MARTA station, the courthouse, City Hall, and dozens of great restaurants. Decatur Square is a hub of year-round activity. So City of Decatur has this central location, the square. North Decatur doesn't have anything like that. Although North Decatur has some very charming spots, like the Oak Grove Plaza, there's really nothing that compares to Decatur Square. The closest thing we have in North Decatur is going to be the Toco Hill Shopping Center, which is right at North Druid Hills and La Vista Road, and this backs right up to Emory University. Overall, North Decatur has many more amenities than the City of Decatur. We literally have hundreds of shops and restaurants in North Decatur. And we're really just a couple 3 miles down the road from Decatur Square, so it's real easy to pop over for a visit. Number 2, the houses. This is a very clear distinction between the City of Decatur and North Decatur. The main home style you're going to find in the City of Decatur is the classic Craftsman Bungalow. The Craftsman Bungalow is a classic American home style. Now, some of the downsides here would be small lot sizes, so the homes are packed fairly tightly, and there's very little off-street parking. Back in the early 1900s, when these homes were built, almost nobody owned a car, so there's sidewalks everywhere, but it's very hard to find a garage or even a carport. And most people end up parking on the street. In North Decatur, the most common home is the ranch style. These are typically all on one level. Most were built in the 1960s. And while not as visually interesting as the Craftsman Bungalow, they do have many advantages. First, ranches are larger and have a lot more storage space. Ranches usually have basements and carports, which are features you never see in Craftsman Bungalows. Even a small basement is a real advantage for home storage. Second, ranches are very sturdy and very well built. Back when many Craftsman homes were built in the early 1900s, building codes didn't exist. So they can be very problematic to maintain, and they're especially difficult to renovate. By the 1960s, building codes were fairly uniform, so these ranch houses are much easier to work with. My wife is in the home renovation business, so if you want to remove a wall, open up the floor plan, or put on an addition, she'll tell you it's much easier to work with a ranch house than to try to renovate a Craftsman Bungalow. And third, the lot sizes in North Decatur are very generous compared to the City of Decatur. The average lot over here is about 3 or 4/10 of an acre. And to put that into square foot terms, that's about 13,000 square feet. That's a pretty nice chunk of land. So when you're deciding between City of Decatur and North Decatur, you're definitely going to want to take these types of houses into consideration, not only your preferences for what style of house you like to live in, but also your long-term goals. Do I want to renovate? Do I want to add on to this house, open up the floor plan? A ranch house is going to be much easier to work with than a Craftsman. And number 3 on our list of differences between City of Decatur and North Decatur is the city services. City of Decatur operates their own school system called the City Schools of Decatur. City of Decatur also operates their own police and fire department. By contrast, North Decatur is part of DeKalb County, so we use all of the county services. Which brings me to point number 4, property taxes. I mentioned that City of Decatur operates their own school system, fire department, and police department, and all of that comes at a big cost. City of Decatur has some of the highest property taxes anywhere in Metro Atlanta. By comparison, North Decatur has relatively low property taxes because we use the county level services and we don't have this overarching layer of city government. We have much lower property taxes. Here's a quick comparison of 2 homes. Both are about the same size, same number of beds and baths. One is in the City of Decatur and the other one is in North Decatur. You can see that the house in North Decatur paid just under $2,000 in taxes last year, while the home in the City of Decatur paid over $10,000 in taxes. Now, these are houses that are a half a mile apart, so this is a very critical issue for a homeowner. All of the property taxes have to be factored in to your monthly payment, so you can see how a home in the City of Decatur is going to greatly reduce your purchasing power. Add to that, home values in the City of Decatur are significantly higher than in North Decatur. So your budget is going to go a lot further in North Decatur. And this brings me to my final point in our comparison between City of Decatur and North Decatur. Number 5 is politics. I don't know of any more elegant way to say this, but politically, the City of Decatur has a West Coast progressive vibe. In the last few years, political activists have really started to make their presence known in the City of Decatur. For instance, Decatur has a new tree ordinance where you have to get a permit before cutting down any tree. Even a completely dead tree, you have to get a permit. You cut that dead tree down without a permit, they'll send you a $500 fine. They also have an aggressive recycling program where they will literally go through your trash and again send you a fine if they don't think you're recycling. There's also a plan to ban gas-powered leaf blowers on lawnmowers and even more plans affecting the city schools, which I won't get into. Needless to say, it's starting to feel a bit like San Francisco or Portland or Asheville, where the activists pretty much run the show. North Decatur, on the other hand, is the kind of place where people rarely, if ever, discuss politics. North Decatur is very much a live and let live type of community, which, to be perfectly honest, has its good sides and its bad sides. You can cut down a tree if you need to, even a healthy one, and nobody's going to hassle you about it. On the flip side, it can sometimes be a challenge to get the county compliance officer to deal with eyesores. Some of our good friends have this abandoned and totally demolished RV parked right next door to them, and DeKalb County has done very little to help. So these things really cut both ways. I tend to come down on the side of private property and allowing people to do what they want, but of course if you opened a slaughterhouse next door to me, I would be very concerned and I would want the government to step in and take action. So we all have our point where we want the government to step in and take action, but I think the City of Decatur has a very low threshold for government action and certainly way too low for my tastes. Again, all of this is stuff you need to be aware of when you're deciding, do I want to live in City of Decatur? Do I want to live in North Decatur? All of these are issues you need to be aware of so you can make a properly informed decision. We have many other videos about the City of Decatur and North Decatur and the entire Emory University area, and I'll link a bunch of those in the box below. And you can also check our playlists for more videos about the Decatur area. So as always, if you're thinking of making the move to Atlanta, and definitely if you're thinking of making the move to the Decatur area, please feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the box below. I'd love to help you. I'm a font of information, and I love to talk to people moving to Atlanta. Thanks for watching.